Hello, good morning. I'm Shotade Olusegun. This morning, I want to use time energy wave model and formula of everything to visually represent what electron wave propagation is and the mass worth of electron in motion and the real mass of electron as related to the classical mass worth. So now when you look at this board, you see that this board is filled with detailed information about electron wave propagation. So in the previous lesson, the previous videos, I explained how you can use a formula of everything to retrieve the classical mass worth, which is this value by supplying electron mass, which is this one. When you supply this electron mass into the formula, you get the classical mass worth of this. So if you have not seen the video, make sure you can check the video in my channel, which is applying formula of everything to illustrate the reality of universe. So now, this is the time energy wave model, and this is the time wave. It goes like this, then down to this extreme end, and then we have energy wave which goes like this. So now when you look at this interaction of time energy wave model, when the scaling of time is wide, then the scaling of energy wave is narrow, or let me say energy wave is narrow relative to time scaling. And so when we have that kind of situation at the maxima, which is this point, at the maxima and minima of both waves, then we have convergence of mass. So at this point, we have convergence of electron mass, and then at the extreme top, a maximum region close to the 0 point, we have convergence of classical mass worth. Now, FoE, which is formula of everything, deals with unification of quantum mechanics to classical mechanics. So that is what Einstein was trying to achieve before his demise, and that is being solved by formula of everything anyways. So now we now want to track the particle of electron and its mass worth relative to time scaling, and we can only achieve this by extending the energy beyond its limit threshold. And once we do that, we reach the point of spontaneous symmetry breaking, and as a result of that, there is asymmetric nature at a quantum realm, or we say there is a asymmetric nature of the universe at a quantum level. So that asymmetric nature is what is being compressed because of time energy wave polarization to have this wave. And right inside this wave, we have the wave magnitude, which is this point, dot, dot. And then this dot, dot up here. We have that wave magnitude. So now, let's start with the electron mass. Here is the value of electron mass, which is 9.109 times 10 minus 31. Now, after we supply this into the formula, then we're able to get this, which is 2,277,250,000 kilograms. Now, this mass worth, which is the classical mass worth of the electron mass, is bigger than the sun of our solar system. So that means that, electron is a fundamental element because it has nothing in it that as a constituent to make up the electron. So it's at fundamental level. So its counterpart is so bigger than the mass of sun. And so now that we have that, what that is telling us is that electron transits from quantum level to classical level at the point of spontaneous symmetry breaking. So we need to extend beyond the energy constraint, which is the magnitude of the wave that we have here, and that is what has happened. Now, when you look at this arrow is pointing down beyond this wave model, saying that it breaks beyond the energy limits. So that is why at the point of that spontaneous symmetry breaking, we have the real value of electron. Then at the point of spontaneous symmetry breaking at classical level, we have the real counterpart classical mass worth, which is the 2,277,250,000 kilogram up there. So now, by using the formula, we're able to get the wave magnitude, which is 5.693125 times 10 minus 48, which is times 10 raised power minus 48 rather. And then this electron mass what is 9.109 times 10 raised power minus 31, and this wave magnitude is 5.693125 times 10 raised power minus 48. Now, since we have this as the magnitude at quantum level, then it's going to be the same at classical level. Then we have 5.693125 times 10 raised power 48 right here. So now when we put this value into the formula, then we have 0.00000001423. I don't know, that could be in kilogram or whatsoever. So that is the worth of electron while in motion. So in motion, electron mass worth reduced, and that is synonymous to the notion of atom being almost empty. So when you have the wave part of atom in that superposition, the atom becomes so light and it's almost empty space. It is not entirely empty space, but it's almost empty space. It's about 99.9999999%. So this is telling us, this is actually proving that when when electron is in superposition, then the mass will be reduced. So at this point, we have the mass worth because there is usually a point of rest, even in the in wave function. So at that point of rest, we will briefly have the worth of particle, and that is what we have here, which is very, very, very tiny, so tiny. And then if we input this same wave magnitude of the classical mass worth into the formula, then we get this particular value, which is 1.4 times 10 raised power 88. Now here we can see that classical mechanics is an inverse of quantum mechanics. So we have reduction of mass worth right here, while we have the increment of mass worth at the top there. So now, then another thing I want to explain right here is when you look at this section, we have N fusion. So this is nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is an increment of mass worth by margin of deuterium and tritium. So it's more or less like an expansion of the wave function or wave system. So we can, this phase is synonymous to nuclear fusion, then is synonymous to expansion phase. Then when we get to this side, we have contraction phase, and then it is synonymous to nuclear fission. Nuclear fission is the decaying of mass into singularity. That is, it keep on reducing the worth of the mass till the point it has no mass at all. So then we have the singularity right here, which could be identified as black hole singularity. Why the singularity we have here is evolutionary singularity. Then another thing we need to know is that the operation of, the suspension of the mass worth. We have this mass is being suspended. As we can see, it is not at the extreme top, it's not at the extreme peak of this classical wave. So it's not at the extreme top. It is being suspended, and it's as a result of the inverse relationship that the mass itself has with time. Mass is inverse to time. Mass is inverse to energy. Energy is inverse to time. Then time is inverse to energy. So when it reaches this point of spontaneous symmetry breaking, then mass worth can actually travel down to arrive at this electron mass real value. So it can override the suspension issue, and that is why we have this intense or energy intensity at the point where deuterium and tritium, at the point where they are about to merge in nuclear fusion. So the force that we have there that becomes more intense is as a result of the suspension of mass that we have in this diagram. Then another thing I want us to know, when you look at this whole wave side, this whole wave that we have here, we call it position phase of electron, while this one right here is the momentum phase of electron. Now here you see that the trajectory of time wave is really above the trajectory of energy wave, but the moment it gets here, the trajectory of energy wave is actually above the trajectory of time wave. And there you can see that time keep on narrowing itself down to increase momentum of energy. So time is scaling narrow here, while the energy intensity keep on increasing. And this, at this point, we have huge energy momentum, and then we as well have entropy. Now this phase we can target gravitational phase in the sense that we have the mass that we have at the maxima of this wave and the one we have at the minima of this wave. They have made the curvature of this time energy wave pattern towards singularity, and that is the gravitational phase. And here we say that we have quantum gravity. Now quantum gravity is not the unification of classical gravity to quantum gravity. We have quantum gravity and then we have classical gravity. Now you see that the two forces, the force of the quantum mechanics and that of the classical, they are converging towards the singularity. Since they are two, they can actually enter into the singularity, and so that is the gravitational phase right here. So you see that in black hole, what this is telling us is that energy keep on increasing. So the effect of gravity wave will be enormous. It will be enormous. Then the intensity of energy will keep on increasing as time is narrowing down towards the singularity. So that is the effect that we have in the black hole. And the evolution or evolutionary singularity, we have expansion, right? We have expansion here. So that is that. Then another thing I want to talk about is since this section is a black hole section, towards the singularity of black hole, so we can call this point event horizon. So if the at event horizon, we have information that we can use to explain what to explain the reality of the singularity. So we have the entanglement of our classical mass and quantum mass right here, and we see that the worth is reduced to actual worth of the electron, and then by the time it starts decaying, then it will keep on reducing towards the singularity. So that is the effect. So there is possibility of radiation in black holes, just as Stephen Hawking has predicted it. There is possibility of that. Then another thing we need to know is that the wave, or let me say wave function, is a radiation system, because when you look at this, you see that the mass worth of electron is very, very small, because the additional worth of electron is being compressed to balance up with the classical uh, wave pattern. And as a result of that, we have this radiation, and part of the original electron mass worth is being converted to it, and we can see the enormity of the worth that is being converted to it through this diagram. So this time energy wave model and formula of everything, they deal with the reality of the universe, and as you can see on the board, it is being mathematically proved. So please like this video, share it with your friends, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm going to put the research publication of this, the full research publication of this. I'm going to put the link in the description below, so you can just explore it and use it to confirm or to prove what's on the board. Thank you. God bless you.